I want to start by thanking Dr. Cox-Cruey and the Board of Education for giving me the opportunity to run what I consider to be the best school in the state of Kentucky. I would also like to thank Barb Martin and Melina Owens, along with our curriculum consultants and all the other support staff at our central office for keeping our school and district moving in the right direction, keeping us all focused, and flying in a V. And we in the middle schools always fly in a V. Finally, I want to thank my site-based council for their good judgment and the staff of Turkey Foot Middle School for their hard work. I look forward to my Board of Education report each year because it's an opportunity to highlight some of the things we're doing with our great kids. And I'm assuming since I'm starting early that you won't mind if I go over time. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Improvement needs improvement now. Oh, I gotcha. Okay. I feel that we have plenty to be proud about this year at Turkey Foot, but there's always much to be done to meet the needs of our kids. I'd like to begin by discussing some of the many things we are proud of. In the first year of the new Ppr testing system, we are in the 81st percentile in the state and continue to be one of the top schools in the Northern Kentucky region for the last 10+ years. Our state results this year have us leading the district in the content areas of reading, math, language, writing, and the Explore test composite as well. We are also 10 points or higher than the state average in every content area assessed in Ppr. This year we are a proficient school. Our goal for this spring is to be a distinguished school, and we're working hard to make that happen. I'm also handed out a sheet with Turkey Foot's many activities. We take the district's Goal 3 very seriously and feel like we are second to none in the opportunities we give our students to enhance their academic, creative, and athletic interests. Among them, our academic team has won the Governor's Cup for 26 out of the last 29 years, including the last 6 years in a row. We have a nationally recognized Odyssey of the Mind team where our kids have had the opportunity through Dixie Heights to compete in Europe. We also have an award-winning speech and drama program as well as traditions of excellence in our band and chorus programs. I'd like you now to take a look at number 1 on your board packet. In analyzing our school report card data, there are a number of things that we feel we put in place this year that have gotten us successful results, and I'll highlight a few of them. To achieve our overall accountability score of 61.5, we implemented programs like school-wide compass learning, where all students in the school each week work on their own individualized differentiated learning path. Our school logged more hours each week in the compass learning system than any other school in the district last year. We also work with students to set individual goals with map testing so that students understood and understand what typical growth looks like and are motivated to achieve their individual goals. We continue to make data-driven decisions. We have so much access to data now these days, and we continue to train teachers to access data and use data to improve instruction in their classrooms. Whether it be Ppr data, discipline data, map or explore data, our job is to make data easy to access so teachers don't get bogged down trying to find the data, but can spend more time analyzing and planning as a result of the data. Also in number 1 in your packet, 64% of our students achieve typical growth or better in math and reading on their Ppr test. We feel like the main reason for this success was the implementation of the Springboard curriculum we started last school year. We appreciate the investment that the Board of Education has made in this great program. We worked very hard as a district and as a school to implement Springboard with fidelity. There was a tremendous amount of training that went along with the program, and I'm very proud of how hard my teachers worked. It was a new way of teaching for many of my teachers, and also a new way of learning for many of our students. Our curriculum coaches were worth their weight in gold, providing support throughout the first year of implementation. And I believe that the sky's the limit this year because everybody has a year under their belts. Our state testing data also showed that we were above the state and district averages in reading and math with our free and reduced lunch students. One reason for this success was our Read 180 program. We feel like we have one of the best Read 180 programs in the country. We've gone out of our way to implement the program with fidelity, targeting kids and monitoring their growth. System 44 was another program that made a positive impact on kids, and a program we actually expanded last school year. We added a remedial math program last school year that served hundreds of students and was data-driven to meet the individual needs of those students. Last year, we also had an extended school service program, our ESS program, where we provided transportation home for students. Often for students, especially in our gap groups, transportation can be a barrier for students taking advantage of after-school programs. We invested thousands of dollars to provide this extra support for our kids. The next part of my board report is number 2 in your packet, and focuses on those things that we implemented at the beginning of the school year that we believe is positively impacting students this year. And again, I'll discuss just a few of those. I mentioned many things we were proud of a few minutes ago, but one thing we're not proud of is that we are a focused school with students with disabilities in reading, and our math scores with this gap group also need improvement. We feel like we've been proactive this school year by adding programs to address these needs. These new programs are Do the Math Now, the Expert 21 Reading Program, as well as expanding our Read 180 program and our Fast Math programs. These programs are serving an additional 200+ students in highly specialized classes designated specifically to address the unique reading and math needs of our GAP students. For our high-level students, we've added Prep and Prep Plus courses at every grade level designed to accelerate and challenge students in reading and language arts. Math and language arts. This is something that our parents of our high-level kids have been asking for, and the district made it happen this year. These really high-level kids can sometimes try to coast by without really trying, but by challenging these upper-end students, we're looking forward to improved academic growth with this group. And it's also really, really great that we're able to have some of the 5th grade students in our 6th grade classes, and we're able to send some of our 8th grade students to Dixie Heights. We were also very intentional this school year about having principal-sponsored professional learning communities. We call these PLCs. I've organized my schedule so I can be involved in PLCs every Tuesday to support my teachers in improving instruction in the classroom. This is one of my highest priorities and something that I believe will improve instruction in every teacher's classroom. A few examples of how PLCs can improve instruction. The 3 math and language arts teachers at each grade level can meet to discuss the upcoming Springboard unit. They can discuss strategies they plan to use, assessments they plan to use, and often during these conversations, teachers get ideas for different strategies to try in their own classrooms. The 3 science teachers at each grade level will often talk about an upcoming lab experiment, sharing ideas to come up with the best strategies possible. The social studies teachers will meet and look at recent assessments students have taken and discuss common mistakes made across the grade level and discuss the best way to reteach the content so the kids retain it. The PLCs are also very helpful for new teachers. For instance, if you have someone who is teaching Springboard for the first time this year, as we do, that teacher has the benefit of experienced teachers who have worked through the issues last year, so now they don't have to reinvent the wheel. I say that these PLCs are principal sponsored because all 12 teachers at each grade level and I meet together in the same room. Teachers sit in content area groups. I develop an agenda for the meetings that I feel keeps us focused on the instructional core of our school. And during that 40 minutes together, I usually start with things I've seen in classroom visits the previous week, tied to reminders about instructional expectations. During the individual content area meetings, I circulate into each group to get an understanding of the pressing issues. Sometimes I'll ask clarifying questions, but the meetings are not about me. They are about teachers supporting each other and meeting the needs of our kids. I'm there to support them and to keep the process moving forward. Also, our curriculum coaches are very involved in our PLCs through consistent communication with teachers. They also attend PLCs each month. They help provide a district perspective and give me feedback on how they feel our PLCs are functioning and how well we're implementing various initiatives, providing, again, feedback for improvement. Teachers have really come to appreciate this time together and are bringing their own questions to the PLC to help solve. We've also put a lot of emphasis on a positive school culture, and I feel like we have a great culture, but it's, again, one of those areas where we can always improve. We want to have a place where students want to come to school and do their best, where students treat each other with respect, and where teachers are developing relationships with their students, their parents, and each other. Our PBIS system includes a number of incentives, and you can look at that list in your packet. And I'll proceed. I will spend the last few minutes of my board report highlighting a few items from section number 3. These are the new strategies that must be implemented to reduce our achievement gaps and also to help us reach our goal of becoming a distinguished school. To address our gaps in reading and math with students with disabilities, we have reviewed individual student data to make sure all students are plugged into the necessary interventions that we have in place. Read 180, System 44, Do the Math Now, Fast Math, Expert 21, and Compass Learning are several of those programs. And we'll continue to analyze data to make sure students are making progress in those programs. The main thing that we need to do to reduce our achievement gaps is to keep making it personal with the kids. We call this naming and claiming them. We do this many ways. One way is that we do multiple MAP goal setting conversations with students. We're having not just core teachers doing goal setting with students, but also the teachers of the special programs are reviewing student goals with them prior to and during the MAP testing windows. For example, a special education student will review his goals with his homeroom teacher, his math teacher, his language arts teacher, and his special education teacher. The kids are getting the message that it's important to do their best, that we care about their success, and that we believe in them. We've gotten great responses from kids who are now taking pride in their MAP scores where previously they might not have cared that much. We are also doing Ppr walks every week. We are being intentional about doing some of our Ppr walks into the intervention type classrooms that I just mentioned, and making sure that instruction is at a high level and providing teachers with feedback for improvement. For example, last week, Melina and I did a learning walk into an intervention reading class. I gave individual feedback to a teacher about encouraging students to explain their thinking when answering questions, instead of the teacher explaining the answer for them. Sometimes teachers will ask kids questions and the kid will answer yes, or the kid will answer no, or the kid will give the answer to the math question, and then the teacher will look at the class and explain all the reasoning behind it, instead of asking that student to explain their thinking. So when I met with a teacher, I explained that sometimes the support a teacher provides students can take the rigor out of a lesson. The main message for that teacher was that we need to have high expectations, that these GAP students can learn at high levels if we challenge them. And sometimes they just need people to point it out. Right. You know? In the area of college and career readiness, we are not satisfied that so many of our students are failing to reach their Explore benchmarks. This puts our students at risk for not making it to college, for dropping out of college, and not being adequately prepared for a good career. The middle school principals in the district decided to have our 7th graders take the Explore test this fall for the first time. 7th grade teachers will analyze the data that they get back and figure out where students struggled on the test and address those needs. We are excited about using results of this test to improve instruction this year. We are very confident that this will result in more students reaching their benchmarks when they take the Explore test in the 8th grade. We're also having 7th grade teachers in 8th grade classes this year when the 8th grade teachers are discussing the results of the Explore test questions with students. So the 8th grade teachers, the 8th grade kids have taken these tests, and again, I'm not real satisfied with their results. When our 8th grade teachers go over that test with the kids and they talk about questions they struggled on, I want to have a 7th grade math teacher, a 7th grade language arts teacher right there to hear that, so it can help influence the instruction that they give those 7th graders, so that next year they're not in that same boat talking about the questions they struggled on. So we feel very confident that the Explore work we're doing will be proactive and will help our kids reach their 8th grade benchmarks. To help ensure progress for all students, with the help of our curriculum consultants, we recently initiated teacher learning walks. We have done this in all content areas. There is a feedback form that helps guide teachers to look for quality instruction. These walks are great for teachers who do the visits because they get to see new ideas or perhaps a different approach in action. It's great for a teacher whose class is visited because they get feedback, positive, and also feedback to help them improve instruction. My interest in this came out of the many times when I'm visiting classrooms, and I wish other teachers could see the great things that I see going on. These teacher walks can help accomplish this, and with so many talented teachers, the possibilities for improvement of instruction are exciting. And this concludes my Board of Education report, and I'd be glad to answer any questions that you have. And
I have one.
you're way over.
You made it, and you're not the only person who has used this term. Typical growth. What does that mean? You know, our kids have made typical growth in math.
It's 40%.
What are we talking about?
When we talk about typical growth has to do with, I think that's in MAP I was referencing. When we talk about MAP testing, our kids take the test, and there's kids all around the country that are taking the same test. So what happens is we have percentiles that we can look at and determine through all the kids that are taking the test what is typical growth for a student.
Okay, so it's a national percentile number, an average, not just a out there.
Right, but it is subject to change,
Yeah.
because we do this 3 times a year, so we have to keep moving the ball forward.
Okay.
And in Ppr, the state set the bar, but Becky, the students that made 40% above were considered growing. Adequately, kids that didn't make 40% are not making.
That's true, right?
That is for how they scored the year before.
Yeah.
So myself, for example, if I scored below grade level, I'm only compared to the other people who started off at the same spot I was at. Whereas he was above grade level, he's compared with the above grade level people to see how did we grow within that same time frame.
Yeah.
As opposed to our peer group.
But I didn't know if it meant, 1 point, 10 points,
It's different
Okay.
depending on where everyone started. It's different.
And the great thing about the types of data that we get back now is, there are students in the old testing system, they would be distinguished.
Right.
And they were really, really smart. And like I said but they might not have grown. So we can really dig down into that and see where our strength areas are and our areas of need are. So we're real excited about that.
All kids to their highest ability.
And a chance to celebrate the students that may still not quite be to grade level yet, but you know what? They grew 3 grade levels in 1 year. They did tremendous, and it's a chance to celebrate their successes too.
Right. Awesome report, Tom. You just
Thank
do
you.
awesome.
Thank you.
I got one thing I want to ask.
Okay.
During staff meetings, is it all about instructions, or do you do everything else too?
Is it a what?
During staff meetings?
Yes.
Is it dedicated to instructions, or do you have to do all your homework and all the other problems or all your needs also?
When we use staff meetings for a lot of different things, but we're certainly looking at data. And what we're using staff meetings for a lot this year is for the whole department. Because we do grade level PLCs, but when I talk about PLCs, Melina and I can be 8th grade math teachers with another math teacher, and we talk about the things that we're doing, how to plan together. We use staff meetings time to bring the 6th, 7th, and 8th graders together teachers together and talk about instruction up and down. So instead of vertically and horizontally. But it's not just me talking.
No, the conferences I go to, they want state meetings to be on instruction.
Yes.
Not do all your other homework. I mean, do an email or send a notice out or something. Don't waste your time to do instruction.
Oh no, we
here's
definitely
what you-
keep it focused on
That's
instruction.
right, because that's when you're all together and that's what you can do instead of getting off on the other topics.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right. Thank
did
you.
fine.
We are very excited to be here. Thank y'all so much for,
Go ahead, it's your floor.
okay, thank y'all so much for welcoming us and making me feel so welcome in Kenton County as an outsider. It's been great. I love Woodland. And we have a lot of things to be proud of, despite the fact that we are a needs improvement school. We were 1.5 points away from proficient, and we moved to the 64th percentile of all middle schools based on our 2012 results, as compared to 2011 when Woodland Middle School was in the 36th percentile. So we jumped 28 points in 1 year. So we're really excited about that. Woodland Middle School also had the highest percentage of students in the proficient and distinguished category in social studies among all 4 middle schools, based on the 2012 Ppr results. We had the second highest number of proficient and distinguished students in reading among all 4 middle schools based on the 2012 results. And also we decreased our discipline referrals by 59%, and we attribute this completely to the successful implementation of PBIS. So during the 2011-2012 school year, there are several instructional pieces that were implemented and we believe positively impacted student learning. We moved to the 64th percentile, and we believe this happened because of the intentional goal setting that teachers did with all students for MAP testing. And it was really this focus on academic growth and mastery of standards. Teachers used MAP data to provide targeted, flexible instruction for all students within the regular classroom environment. And they flexibly group students based on RIT scores in reading and math for 30 minutes a day to provide remediation for struggling students and extension instruction for high-performing students. We implemented the rigorous Springboard curriculum in math and English to prepare students for college and career readiness, and students performing below grade level reading benchmarks received instruction through Read 180 and System 44 to remediate, so they'll be able to meet grade level expectations. We had the second highest number of proficient and distinguished students in reading among all 4 middle schools based on our 2012 Ppr results. 66% of Woodland students were in the proficient or distinguished category in reading. This is significantly higher than the state average of 59%. And we attribute this to the added additional tier of reading intervention with System 44. And this intervention addressed the needs of our most struggling readers because it addresses basic reading skills. Teachers were trained extensively in Springboard instructional strategies, and our language arts teachers collaborated with our district consultants to improve instruction. Beginning in 2012, we implemented several things that we believe are really going to impact student learning. In addition, we added an additional reading tiered intervention called Expert 21. And Expert 21 is a reading course targeted towards students exiting out of Read 180. So it's to really build that bridge between Read 180 and the Springboard curriculum. We are expecting this to bring students up to their grade appropriate reading level. It's also expected to close gaps and raise reading K-Prep achievement, growth, and college and career readiness scores. And we are expected to raise Explore scores for the following year. In addition, we are also giving all our 7th graders the Explore test. And we know that combined with MAP, Explore data is going to give us additional information about our students' strengths and weaknesses to further provide targeted instruction, which is expected to increase student achievement, gap, growth, and college and career readiness on K-Prep. We know that combined with the 8th grade Explore data, it's going to help us identify areas of strength and weaknesses in our overall instructional program, which is expected to then in turn increase student achievement, gap growth, college and career readiness on K-Prep and Explore. And we're expecting it to raise Explore test scores for next year with our 8th graders. Due to the targeted instruction, our 7th graders are going to be able to receive, and also their initial exposure to the test. Students are also going to set goals for 8th grade Explore based on their 7th grade Explore performance, which is expected to increase their student achievement on the 8th grade Explorer. We really have a focus on data during our job-embedded professional development. Teachers are analyzing MAP scores and K-Prep data to identify areas of improvement in instruction, and we know this is going to really impact our K-Prep results. Teachers are also analyzing data in small groups as a springboard to developing specific strategies to improve student achievement, gap growth, and college and career readiness. We've added the Do the Math Now curriculum. This is a math curriculum which helps students who are below benchmark in math develop a foundation that they've missed, which will directly impact their K-Prep achievement. And then we also created 2 interventionist positions, and those positions are in the 6th and 7th grade. The interventionist has small classes and is able to provide really high quality instruction to our most struggling students. So we're expecting this to really impact our student achievement. And based on our analysis of the school report card, we've identified new strategies that we feel must be implemented to address the needs of our students and help us reach our goal of becoming a proficient school. Only 33.5% of our students met the college and career readiness benchmark in math, compared to 44.4% in reading, and this is unacceptable. We are going to continue to implement Springboard with integrity, so students are receiving challenging and rigorous instruction every single day. We are going to use our 30 minutes in the morning with the development of specific lesson plans, and this is our RTI time, to challenge and push our proficient and distinguished students to make sure we're not only meeting the needs of our lower performing students, but also pushing our students to excel. We added 7th graders taking Explore, which we know is going to help impact our math, and this item analysis to target individual needs based on 7th grade Explore scores. Goal setting with 7th graders, so that we're setting an expectation for them when they take 8th grade Explore, and then intentional in-class instruction to focus on the identified needs of the Explore results from 7th grade. Only 33.7% of our 7th grade math students scored at the proficient and distinguished level, compared to 42.6% in the district and 38.6% in the state. We're really working with those teachers to use MAP data to differentiate and target instruction for students in 7th grade math. The fidelity of implementation with Springboard, I'm working a lot with the district consultants and making sure that that's happening every single day. Collaboration among our 7th grade math teachers and PLCs and with the district consultant. They are actually going out to a visit on Friday with our district consultant to observe other 7th grade math classes and to bring back some ideas to use at Woodland. And then this intentional goal setting with all students focusing on growth. Intentional classroom-based instruction to address our identified gaps in student mastery, and item analysis to target individual needs based on those 7th grade Explore scores. That's going to be key for us. Only 58% of our students made typical or higher growth in math compared to 67.5% in reading. We need more focused and intentional goal-setting strategies using both MAP and K-Prep data, and I've been working a lot with teachers on how to integrate the data we have from K-Prep into goal-setting with MAP and using the growth data with them. Implementation of Do the Math Now, which is an intervention for students who are below the grade level benchmark in math, and it's been really successful. We've had several students who've said that that light bulb is coming on now based on what they've been doing in Do the Math. And then continuing with job embedded PD focused on differentiation strategies so all students' needs are met. And then we are a focus school because of the gap which existed in our special education population in language, mechanics, and science. But it's also disappointing that no students with disabilities scored at the proficient or distinguished level in 6th grade writing, language mechanics, or 7th grade math. So we're really working with our special education department, increasing collaboration among special education teachers and regular education teachers to develop strategies to help these students grow. Creation of a peer tutoring program to enable students to receive one-on-one or small group instruction in identified areas of improvement. We're hoping to have that up and running second semester. Job embedded PD to focus on effective co-teaching strategies in collaborative classrooms, and PD for special education teachers in all content areas, so that when they're working in the collaborative classrooms, that they're confident and also ready to help our teachers. I feel very fortunate to be at Woodland. There are incredible teachers there, and we are right there and ready to be a proficient school, and we will be a proficient school next year. There's no doubt about it in my mind. So thank y'all so much for having the opportunity to speak with you and share my report. Any questions?
Good report. Yeah, I see so much enthusiasm. They hit some rough times.
That's right.
It's really good to see some real positive things.
Thank you. I really love Woodland. The students and the teachers, the parents, it's just a great place to be. It's a very special place. And I am so confident that we are going to be at a proficient spot next year and then distinguished 2 years from now. We might even be distinguished next year. You never know. You never know.
Well, I agree with Becky to see your enthusiasm, Mr. Campbell. I hope you're a pro there. So you know all those kids.
Tracy's going to tell us.
Yes, one thing that Tara neglected to mention, she mentioned do the math and what an effective program it is, but she did not mention that she's actually leading one of those small group interventions. And so she can see firsthand, and I think what a great role model for the teachers, that not only do I lead the work, but I also dig in and do the work. So I'll just mention that.
It's the best part of my day.
That's what she says.
I love it. It's great working with the
Thank
kids.
you very, very much. We look forward to seeing you next year.
I think I will definitely. Y'all are stuck with me.
Mr. Shannon Gross, Principal, and Assistant Principal Travis Caudell.
Okay.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for being here.
It's our pleasure.
Good afternoon, and thank you for allowing us the opportunity to be here. We'll start with the points of pride for Twenhofel Middle School. Not to be cliche, but I cannot brag enough of what a wonderful school I've had the opportunity to become a principal of. The staff support, the overall community support, the students in general, they are absolutely phenomenal. And being new to the district, you know, I can't say enough about Mr. Caudell, about Mrs. Owens, how supportive they've been. And I know I've worn them out calling, emailing, but they are so supportive. I just need to let that be known. This year, Twenhofel Middle School received the classification of a proficient school by scoring in the 76th percentile of all the middle schools in Kentucky. The big thing here, we weren't a focus school, so it's pretty awesome. Twenhofel was the only middle school in the district that did not have an area of focus. We received a 60.2. The state for next year has set the goal for us to be at a 60.7, but our goal is to be a distinguished school, and we will be at a distinguished school. And in order to achieve that, we need to earn a 64.9, which is well within reach. Our science scores were the highest scores across the 4 middle schools, and a big celebration here is we had the highest composite Explore score for the district of the 4 middle schools at a 15.9, and that score will reflect on next year's school report card. Also, the past 2 months, we had the highest middle school attendance for the district. 2 of the 3 months in September, our daily attendance was a 97%, and in October, it was a 96.7. And our school culture is phenomenal. Our staff, they want to be there, and with our staff wanting to be in the classrooms, wanting to be around the students, that's just all the more incentive for our students to be there. So that shows in the school attendance. Question 1. In the 2011-12 school year, what did Twenhofel Middle School implement that positively impacted student learning as reflected in our school report card? Our reading achievement was a 52.1 in the category of proficient and distinguished, and the state average noted there was an average of a 46.8. The Explore 68% of our students reached benchmark in reading, as will be seen in next year's accountability. And what we think was responsible for that was implementing Springboard and also having the opportunity to work with the district consultants. They are absolutely unbelievable. All it takes is a phone call, and they're there setting up professional development for the staff, going over different instructional strategies. So I can't say enough about them. Also, Twenhofel Middle School has adopted RTI. They have implemented that school-wide with fidelity. They are all about looking at the 815 individual students and making choices that solely will reflect on what's best for the students, and they are doing that with the RTI program. And also the implementation of Read 180 and System 44. Our math achievement was a 46.1 in the category of proficient and distinguished, while the state average was a 40.6. In the Explorer scores, 36% reached benchmark in math, and this will be seen also in next year's accountability. And once again, the programs that led to this score was the RTI. Also with MAP, we are testing our students 3 times, and up through this point, we just finished our second round. So with that, we are goal setting with our individual students, and also we're looking at our lowest performing math students, and we're setting them up on an individual compass program to help get them to grade level to where they need to be, and also the implementation of Springboard math. Our science scores across the board, if I recall, were the highest of all 4 middle schools. Our science achievement was a 77.5 in the categories of proficient, distinguished, and I think what led to that score was the classroom walks with teachers to focus on best practices in science instruction, and Mr. Chavez is doing a great job looking at the student data, also working with the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade science teachers, helping them, providing them with a ton of resources. And we just sent the whole science department to Louisville a few months ago to attend the national state science conference. And with that being said, I walked in a 7th grade science classroom the other day, and they were doing this awesome experiment, and they got the idea from the conference in Louisville. So 67.4% above typical growth in reading. The state average was a 60.4. 65.2% above typical growth in math, and the state average was 60.4. And received those scores by goal setting with MAP with an emphasis on individual student growth. And also, once we've set our students in a certain RTI class, we're doing that by flexible grouping. That means if we see that a student is gaining the knowledge they need, or they are not where we want them to be, we have what we call flexible grouping, and we'll go and we'll make the moves accordingly based on the students' individual needs. Question 2. Beginning in August 2012, what did Twenhofel Middle School implement that we believe will positively impact student learning? At the beginning of the school year, I individually met with all of our certified staff, and one of the things that I personally wanted our staff to focus on was utilizing student data. So with that, every certified staff member added utilizing student data as an additional area of focus on each of their individual professional growth plans. And this is expected to have a positive impact on student achievement and growth by using data to drive instruction and ensure that it serves a purpose and that it is also intentional. We want our teachers to be data-driven, to be student-centered, and in order to do that, they have to be able to focus on the student data and make the moves as necessary. And this is also expected to raise Ppr achievement and gap growth in college and career readiness. And also, we added a reading course titled Expert 21, which targets students who are reading below grade level. And this is expected to bring students up to their grade appropriate reading level, expected to close gaps in reading in Ppr achievement and growth. And this is also expected to raise Explorer scores for the following year. I think it was 2 weeks ago, is on November the 19th, we had our 7th graders take off-grade Explorer testing, and we just received our results, and with that data, that will equip us with the necessary information to group and regroup students according to their academic performance on the 7th grade Explorer test. And we will use these results to identify instructional needs for individual growth and whole group needs. And this is also expected to raise the Explorer test scores for 8th graders. They will have a familiarity with the Explorer test for next year, and this will give our 7th grade teachers approximately 4 months to improve instructional practices to help get these 7th grade students to where they need to be by the time they reach the 8th grade. Question 3. Based on our analysis of the school report card, achievement gap, growth, college career readiness, and/or graduation rate, what new strategies must we implement to address the needs of our students? Even though we were a proficient school with no area of focus, we know we have some improvements that need to be made. 22.8% novice in reading and achievement. We had a 15.2% novice in math achievement. And what we're doing to help raise these scores is our PLCs will continue to focus on individual student achievement by having teachers focus on specific instruction. Our Ppr Walks with central office will continue to focus on improving and coaching individual teaching strategies by improving instructional strategies. And we've added the Compass Math to our elective rotation, and that's for the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And with this, we've selected our bottom 25 to 30% of our math students to put them in this program to get them up to grade level. 22.6% proficient distinguished in math gap, and that was below the state and district average. Our special education math was a 9.9% proficient and distinguished. And what we're doing to help raise our special education in math, we're targeting our RTI math, Compass Math, and exploratory, and that's with the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And we've also implemented Do the Math Now. We are proud to be above the state average and district average for college and career readiness, but we still believe this should be a focus of ours. And what we're doing to improve that is, as I mentioned earlier, our 7th graders will take the Explorer test. Using that data will equip us with the necessary information to group and regroup students according to their academic performance on the 7th grade Explorer test. And with that, it's expected to raise the Explorer test scores for the 8th graders. And this group, this current group of 7th graders, once again, by the time they reach the 8th grade and they have to take that the Explorer test in September, they will be ready. And that will reflect on our scores. Also, with the 7th grade Explorer test, we're looking at the breakdown of the item analysis sheets that will be used to form starting gates to drive our classroom instruction and reteaching. We're doing job-embedded Explorer test results with the entire staff, that's 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, because we all want them to have ownership in it, to go over and review what the Explorer results indicated. And once the scores are made available to teachers, we will use that data to group and regroup students during RTI according to their academic performance. And two more things here. With the breakdown of the analysis sheet that we received from our 7th grade Explore test, we will set one day aside as specific content teachers go over the questions and responses while the students have the test and the test booklet. So they can go back with the actual test booklets in their hand, actually look at the question, look at what they made, or look at what they responded or how they responded, and go back and correct those answers. Once our teachers have that data and our students have that data, we can also, and we will also use the compass-based assignments to bring our lower performing math students up to grade level. And looking at the accountability index, the state for our 2013 goal has set the goal of a 60.7, and that's 0.5 of a point for growth. But like I mentioned earlier, our goal is to be a school of, with a classification as distinguished. And we know with the resources that you all have provided, the culture of our school, the support from our parents, we will reach that. So this concludes my board report. Thank you.
Excellent.
Any questions?
I just think it's awesome that now we can actually use these tests, we can explore to identify areas where you used to take the test and never saw it again. You know,
Exactly.
you got a number, and it's like, where did I mess up?
Especially with the
Portfolios and stuff, and it's so neat to be able to break it down and kids can see, oh, you know, I didn't get this math concept or whatever.
And we were a little worried about how our 7th grade teachers would take the idea of, you know, maybe having to do another test. But the only question they had was like, when can we do this? We want to do this. They were all about it. And they're actually knocking on our doors like, when do we get the results? When can we go over it? So
And
they
the
were,
test that you give the 7th graders, is that the regular 8th grade test?
yes, yes. Exact format, questions, all of that.
I mean, I'm envious when I was teaching, you know, we didn't get to do any of that.
Yeah.
And so you didn't get that feedback, and it's just so much neater now.
In all 4 of our middle schools, to complement the 4 principals, they do fly in D, and they talked about this, and one school said they were going to do it. KC back there had the idea, and then the other 3 schools said, we're going to do it too. Well, and they are committing their own instructional funds as a school to give this test, have it scored, and then have that data come back so that we've got until the kids take the Explorer next fall. So I compliment them for being willing to commit.
We talk about attendance. Principal Gross, Kenton County works on attendance. I study my packet every month. They all know I do, and watch for attendance, so I know where yours is at. Those kids can't learn if they're not there.
Exactly. And it makes all the difference in the world when you're there on a Friday morning and you never hear the staff complain, or you never hear them say, thank God it's Friday. I mean,
Right.
they're excited about coming to work. And once again, that reflects in our student attendance. So.
And I know there are districts that would die to get that 96 and 97%. We've been told that.
But we're going to be selfish and we're going to keep those numbers.
That's
So
right. Maybe we'll hit 98.
that's the goal.
But we thank you. We enjoyed it.
Thank you.
The first thing I'd like to bring up is the pride of points of pride, and I am very, very excited, first of all, to be there. That's, I think, my pride, and or maybe I shouldn't say pride, but that's my love and my compassion and my excitement. On my wall behind my door, I've written all the messages that I'm supposed to remember, and you'll have to come out and see before I tell you. We still have a very new administrative staff, but we are working well together. We're meeting regularly, and I think that is a point of pride. But as far as test scores, overall, our percentile has really grown. And in 2010, we went 42nd percentile, and now in 2011, we went to 43rd percentile, and then our results currently from 2012 were at the 54th 64th percentile. So we have made improvements in that area, and I'm really excited about that. The staff really has taken the numbers this year and looked at them and analyzed them at heart. So I think that number will improve over time. Our science department received 12.2 points of bonus, which means our distinguished scores are larger than our novice scores, and that's really, really exciting. They were thrilled, and I'm very proud of them for doing that. Our social studies department also received bonus points. They received 8.7 bonus points on the K-Prep, so they also had more distinguished than proficient, and they are already working on how to improve those numbers. Kind of off of the K-Prep and the data, we've started an archery club, and we've had 67 members already join, and it's only 2 weeks old. So that's exciting. We're getting the students there, hopefully to improve our attendance and to improve those connections that the students are having in the school and getting them there and wanting to be there. Question number 1 was, what did we implement in 2011, 2012 to get our results? And I mentioned earlier that our science did receive the 12.2 bonus points. 64.9% of our students were proficient and distinguished, so that gave us the bonus points. And I think that might have something to do with our STEM course that we added. Mr. Murray is a science teacher, and he added our STEM, and they are doing a program for aerospace and engineering. He does a lot of math in there, he does a lot of science in there, and the kids really, really like it. They use a lot of computer, they use a lot of simulations for the aerospace program. So I think that is a really, really good addition to our Encore elective classes. In math, our achievement in 7th grade, 47.1% of our students are proficient and distinguished. And in 8th grade, 47.3% of our students are proficient or distinguished. I think that is because we have, and talking to the staff, we have implemented the Springboard curriculum, which is the college readiness, which you know. We've put that in every single grade level. We've streamlined our RTI across the building, making our flexible groupings smaller. We did not include our Encore teachers this year, but we did last year, and I think that was very, very advantageous for us. The RTI groups were also very structured. Every 4 weeks we would switch from one of the subcategories in the MAP testing. The results in language arts, the 3 subcategory, literature, informational, and the foundational vocabulary, and I might have said that wrong, sorry. But we were very intentional. Every 4 weeks we rotated the focus on the RTI groups based on the day cards. And then we would also take every other 4 weeks, and we would be very, very intentional in our RTI groupings for the 4 math areas that needed to be addressed. And each of the teams created their groupings by the RIT bands, according to those 7 subcategories. And I thought that really helped our scores. In order for our RTI to happen, or to be smaller in the flexible groupings, we did utilize our Encore staff, and we also utilized our Compass Learning, and our staff would rotate through the labs, our computer labs, for the Compass Learning to help them. Question number 2. Let me take a step back. Our school report card showed that 64.1% of our students had typical growth. That means 64% had 40% or more growth in their growth band, if you look at how you describe it in reading. So that was very, very good. Our language arts teachers conference with our students. They help set goals with our students in their goal setting for their MAP scores. They concentrated on doing that. Our flexible groupings, as I talked about earlier, for RTI was very, very useful. Our Read 180 program last year was in its second year, and I think the teachers were much more comfortable with our Read 180 program and the System 44, so they were able to really pull out what worked well with the students and what didn't work well with the students and change that up a little bit, so they were very comfortable. And then with the Springboard books that we used in reading, that really helped push our higher level and our average students at the higher career in college and the rigor that the Springboard offers for our students. So I think that helped our reading scores and the growth for our students. Question number 2, beginning this August 2012, what did we implement? In the 7th grade, our 7th grade students are all going to be able to get an additional math class for 2 quarters of the year and an additional language arts class 2 quarters of the year. Missy Hicks has been helping do the curriculum and the layout of that program. They've been using the Expert 21 to address some of the fluency and the vocabulary, and then even the reading comprehension in that second language arts class. That's going to be able to help our growth with our students and then also improve our K-Prep scores for reading and language and writing. Part of the second language arts class that I just talked about, they are going to be doing some of the LDC, some of the Gates writing pieces, and getting much deeper into having the students analyze their writing and improve their writing and taking it through the writing process. So I think that will help our writing scores. In the second math class that the students are going to be taking in 7th grade, they are concentrating on probability and statistics, which is an area that we sometimes struggle with, and they're going to dive deeper into it because they're expanding the timeline that they're working with that. It's also going to allow the other math class, the regular math class, for the students to dive deeper into that content, learn it a little bit deeper and more mastery. Jenny Barrett also has been a really good help in helping them structure that curriculum. And that's going to improve our K-Prep math scores, and improve our growth percentages as well. Our second year of Springboard is this year, so that's going to be something that I think will get a lot of improvement for the college and career scores. It's a higher level. The rigorous content is going to be a good thing for our students to push and get that practice. We are a focus school in the area of reading and disabilities, and that is a very big concern of mine. It breaks my heart that a student struggles and is not able to do well on the test. In order to address that, we have taken all of our instructional assistants and we are training them to be more effective in helping in the Read 180 and the System 44 classes. So when they go into the classes, they're not just a computer guru or computer helping to get the headphones, that kind of thing. They're actually going to be running reports. They were taught how to do some small groups in instruction. They were taught on how to ask appropriate questions to get the kids to think at higher levels and not just manage the facilities and moving of the kids. So we're going to be doing more training for them in the math area, which will help improve our math scores too. We are, in our RTI groups, we are developing smaller groups by using the instructional assistants that have been trained in the reading. And now we're going to expand that to the math area. The other thing that our 7th grade staff has done, especially our special ed staff, they have taken a smaller look at students who are not successful in Tier 2 or Tier 3, and they are pulling them for very intense instruction in fluency, vocabulary, reading comprehension, and they are being pulled from that second language arts class that I had talked about, and they are going to be really working with those kids with fluency, and they're already seeing improvement by some of the math reading scores that they took earlier this week and last week. Another thing that we implemented was Do the Math. and we are working on getting the students into those groups by doing some flexible grouping based on the MAP data. We started our math MAP testing today. So next week, before we go on break, we will already look at the scores of those MAP students and regroup or do the math. We've got that at every single grade level, which is nice. I think that's going to be able to help our math scores, especially with the students who are struggling. The other thing that we've done this year is we've really concentrated on making sure that our job embedded and our data and our PLCs are consistently scheduled. Every Monday, the teachers are working in their content area by grade level in PLCs. And there is a direct questionnaire that they answer. What are their learning targets? We want them to have conversations so that they can become better at instructing and being targeted in their learning. I call it intentional learning. Sometimes we as teachers, at least when I taught, it wasn't as intentional. And now with the data that we have and the curriculum that we have, we can make it very intentional on what we want the students to learn. So on Mondays, they are doing the PLCs in the content areas. On Tuesdays and Wednesdays, we are using those for job-embedded professional development opportunities. And we have done special ed accommodations and modifications, how to help those students master skills and knowledge. We have put in place data analysis on Fridays. And we've done Explorer data, we've done the K-Prep data, we've looked at MAP data from the spring, MAP data from the fall. So every time we get data, we look at it. The exciting thing is the 7th grade took the Explorer test. And when we get those results back, which they arrived just a couple days ago, and when we get looking at those and diving into it, it's going to allow us to help our 7th grade teachers kind of give those students that instruction and the skills and content for the career college readiness. That'll help our Explorer scores in the long run and our K-Prep scores in the long run. On Tuesdays and Wednesdays, we also have talked about instructional strategies, learning targets, going back and reteaching some of the strategies for the formative assessment, like I said, learning targets, how to use Descartes in the RTI process. We've revisited our RTI process. I think at our point in time, we are revisiting a lot of the instructional strategies that are effective, and I think once we get those perfected, I think we're going to be able to see a lot of improvements, not just in the pockets as we've had, because we've had some successful pockets, but we're going to see it consistent across the board. That's my goal. Day-to-day, like I've mentioned on Friday, we have a lot of opportunity to work with teachers to dive deeper into the data, which we did not have before. And teachers are absolutely loving it. They are a competitive group, and they are looking at all the other schools, and several of our teachers in several of the grade levels have mentioned to the students, we don't want to be last. We're not going to be last. And the students have really taken it with heart. The teachers have taken it with heart. And there's a little competition, so the middle schools had better watch out. And that's exciting. Yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah, everybody looks for competition. Based on what and I didn't get to go into all the wonderful things that we are doing, like I've mentioned, we're perfecting a lot of things and doing a lot of wonderful things for kids. So I was long-winded. So questions for me?
Well, I appreciate your compassion.
Thank you.
And your passion for the job. I think you're with it. It's exciting.
Yeah.
And we look forward next year and see what goes on, Casey.
Thank you. Thanks. We're very excited.
Yes.
Very excited. Lots of things that we didn't get to tell you all about.
Oh,
So come out and see us.
That's good. Yes, we'll have to do that.
Oh.
Well, that
The camera
concludes
done?
all our
Thank you.
reports. Dr. Castor, you have anything to say?
No, but I hope what you heard today is a common theme as everybody's become more focused.
Yes.
We're really proud of all the work. We're really proud of the Exhibit team. They've done a lot to prepare for this. And the reports that you saw today would really fit what the state is wanting us to do with assist, so they're already on track and working ahead of the game on that. So really focus on the standards and all the new things coming from the state. We feel like we're far ahead of everyone else in the state and really leading this work with the standards.
That way we gotta get better, we'll expect better scores, right?
Absolutely. They're
That's
coming.
bound to happen.
That's right,
Yeah, I mean,
that's right,
it's-
that's right.
It's a natural result of the effort.
Well, we thank you, ladies.
Thank
That
you.
is-
Thank
Good
you.
job. Good to hear you're looking at the data and figuring out how
Yes.
to improve the data and
Yes.
really analyzing it, because it is
It is what it
a
is.
lot more guiding than just trying to shoot for the stars and
Yeah.
know which star
Right,
you're
just
shooting
out
for.
there.
So,
Right.
I'm really proud of all of you, those that are still here and those that reported earlier in life. So you guys did a good job.
Thank you.
Yes. At this time, we need to go into executive session pursuant to KRS 61.810, number 2. I ask for a motion of the board. All those in favor?